If you line up 100 people and test their IQs, you might naturally assume the ones at the top of the curve would eventually build the most wealth. By 2021, Sam Bankman-Fried seemed to validate that theory. At 29 years old, he commanded a $20 billion net worth and a crypto empire built on the kind of mathematical models that Wall Street envied. Then the empire collapsed overnight. He didn't fail because of a rounding error in his data. He failed because he lacked the psychological boundary of enough, pushing for more status and control until he triggered a total liquidation. You can optimize every variable on a financial plan, but spreadsheets don't feel fear. They don't scroll social media, they don't experience envy, and they don't panic when a market dip feels like a personal attack. Winning at money requires looking past the math. You have to build a system that accounts for the behavioral glitches that bypass logic and quietly dismantle your wealth. We prefer clean narratives where success is strictly earned through hard work, and failure is the direct result of laziness. Take Bill Gates in the early 1970s. He was brilliant, disciplined, and relentlessly obsessed with programming. But his effort was amplified by a 1-in-a-million stroke of luck. He happened to attend one of the only high schools in America with a computer terminal, giving him years of practice before most adults even saw a keyboard. His close friend, Kent Evans, was equally brilliant and equally obsessed, but Kent died in a mountaineering accident before graduation. Two brilliant minds, identical effort, but wildly different outcomes driven by circumstances outside their control. Luck and risk frequently dictate the outcome far more than pure effort. Because you cannot duplicate someone else's luck, the most durable financial wisdom is building a system designed simply to survive the bad breaks. Most financial plans look safe on paper because they assume growth is a straight line. What they leave out is the visceral, stomach-dropping nausea of watching your life savings drop 30%. We have a biological blind spot when it comes to measuring success. Because we can only see what people spend, we judge their wealth entirely by what is visible. When a bright red Ferrari rolls down the street, you don't actually admire the driver. You picture yourself behind the wheel. The driver bought it to gain respect, but bystanders are only using the car as a mirror for their own desires. True wealth consists of the things you cannot see: the unspent cash, the untouched investment accounts, and the flexibility in your schedule. It is the money that hasn't been converted into physical objects. Spending specifically to show people how much money you have is the single most efficient way to ensure you have less of it. Many believe that building massive wealth requires hyperactive trading and a series of brilliant, perfectly timed market predictions. Consider Warren Buffett. Out of his $160 billion net worth, over $156 billion was generated after his 65th birthday. Most of those gains come from tail events, the rare statistical outliers that do all the heavy lifting. Out of hundreds of investments, only a tiny fraction will drive the vast majority of the wealth. In 1989, Buffett bought shares of Coca-Cola. It was a mundane, boring decision that quietly compounded over decades into an explosive tail event. Success depends on your ability to stay in the game. If you can avoid ruin and remain standing for decades, you allow compounding and rare tail events to do the work for you. The pursuit of money often creates a moving finish line. You hit a salary goal, then meet a neighbor who earns more, locking you into a permanent state of feeling behind. This data visualization maps the findings of the Angus Campbell study. When compared against standard material metrics, the most reliable predictor of overall well-being is a strong sense of control over your own life. Money pays its highest dividend in the form of control, the ability to wake up and decide exactly what you do with your day, having the space to wait for the right opportunity and the power to say no. Reach that point by defining your own game. Stop adopting the high-risk strategies of people with different goals, and trade the pursuit of a mathematically perfect plan for a moderate one you can actually survive. Ultimately, wealth is about building a margin of safety for your mind. It ensures that when the rest of the world inevitably panics, you have the peace to remain still.